Well, hello, everybody. Welcome back to How I Heal Everything. My name is Kimberly Palm, and this channel is a health and wellness channel aimed at me helping you to learn about different types of health and wellness tips, how to heal yourself, how I've healed myself. And I use my 39 years of medical research and training in alternative healing techniques and energy medicine and natural medicine and even allopathic medicine sometimes to basically help you all out to live healthier, happier, longer lives. And before I get started on this episode, I'm going to remind you to please go read my disclaimer at the bottom of the description on this video. I am not a doctor. I cannot diagnose or treat you. Anything I say on this channel is my opinion, entertainment purposes only. If you wish to utilize any of the stuff that I tell you, I highly recommend you always check with your doctor first before doing anything that I discuss on this channel. I'm mostly discussing basically things that I have used on myself over the years to heal different conditions, research I've done, information I've received over the years. I will go over research and share techniques and share info, and also share how I've helped my clients to heal themselves, because I've been doing health coaching, medical intuitive work, and healing work on people for almost a couple decades now. So I basically share that on this channel as well. So thank you for joining me here. And if you're new, welcome, welcome, welcome. Today's episode, I am discussing iron deficiency and what are the causes of iron deficiency, and what are some of the symptoms of iron deficiency, and what are some of the awful things that an iron deficiency can actually cause within your body system. So let's get to this. I've got 4 pages of notes here because I have so much information to go over, and there's just no way to memorize all this information. So let me grab, I didn't number these pages, which I should have probably. That would have been nice. So, here we go. Okay. So it is estimated that, believe it or not, 80% of the world's population does not get enough iron into their bodies through diet or supplements, vitamins, nutrients. And 30% of people may actually suffer from what's called iron deficiency anemia. That's pretty bad. 30% of the population have iron deficiency anemia, and that is resulting from low levels of red blood cells. And, the reason I chose this topic to talk about today is because I actually had a client that is going through this issue last week. We were talking, and after we got done talking, I was like, I really need to make a video about this, because 80% of the population is not getting enough iron and 30% is anemic. So just that alone, tells you that I need to try to help as many people as I can with this. So hopefully this information today will help you if you or someone else in your family or friends are suffering with iron deficiency. Iron is a vital component for blood production. In fact, you cannot, without iron in your body, you wouldn't produce any kind of red blood cells at all. It wouldn't be possible. So if I stripped you of all the iron, your body would literally halt making any red blood cell production. 70% of all iron processed by the body ends up in the blood cells, 70%. Hemoglobin, which is an essential element for transporting oxygen from the lungs to the tissues, is mostly comprised of iron. So without iron, the body lacks oxygen necessary to basically make your body function. So you're not going to be able to breathe. Your lungs aren't going to work. You're not going to make blood cells. You basically completely cease to exist. You would die if you didn't have iron in your body. Iron also helps you maintain mental and physical energy. It assists gastrointestinal processes. Sorry about that. Gastrointestinal processes, and it regulates your body temperature. So that is why one of the symptoms of iron deficiency is actually having cold hands and feet. If you have chronic cold hands and feet, you could have an iron deficiency. You also could have a thing called Raynaud's, which is something I have. It's an autoimmune disease where your hands and your feet are always cold. Your nose is always cold. And if you go in the sun, your hands and fingers will actually turn bright red like cherries, and they'll swell up. Like my toes look like swollen cherries when I go out in the sun. And when you get real cold and you have Raynaud's, your hands and feet turn blue. Sometimes my chin will even get like a bluish color, my nose, if I'm really cold. And that is symptoms of Raynaud's, but you can also have these symptoms if you have iron deficiency. So let's talk about recommended daily allowance. The RDA is the quantities of dietary nutrients necessary for good health, and RDAs are prescribed by the Food and Nutrition Board of the National Academy of Sciences. So the RDA of iron varies according to demographics, but as of this moment right now, the RDA for iron is as follows, okay? Males aged 9 to 13 years old should be getting 8 milligrams of iron every day. Age 14 to 18 should be getting 11 milligrams of iron, and age 19 plus should be getting 8 milligrams of iron. Now, females age 9 to 13 should be getting 8 milligrams of iron. Females age 14 to 18 should be getting 15 milligrams of iron, and females age 19 to 50 should be getting 18 milligrams of iron. Age 51 plus should be getting 8 milligrams of iron. Now, when you're pregnant, the RDA says you should be getting 27 milligrams of iron, and that's because your baby sucks all the iron out of your body. A lot of it goes to the baby. When you're lactating, and you're 14 to 18 years of age, hopefully you're not having babies when you're 14 to 18, but if you do, you want to be getting 10 milligrams of iron. And if you're 19 plus, you want to be getting 9 milligrams of iron. So these are the RDA requirements. So symptoms of iron deficiency, I already mentioned one, which is cold hands and feet. Other symptoms include weakness, pale skin, shortness of breath, dizziness, strange cravings to eat dirt, ice, or clay, a tingling or crawling feeling in your legs. Your legs constantly have they feel like there's something crawling up your legs, tongue swelling or soreness, cold hands and feet, like I said, brittle nails, also really ridged nails if you have a whole bunch of ridges in your nails, headaches. You could get headaches if you have iron deficiency, inside of your eyelids. So you can see mine there. It's hard to see in the light because I have the sun, the window right here shining light in me, but mine are pretty pink. So if they're all white, then you're really iron deficient. And the more red they look in that area on the inside of your eyes down there, lower lids, the more red you are, the more iron rich blood you have, which is a really cool way to tell if you have anemia. Because if it is all white there, you are anemic. Extreme fatigue is another symptom, fast heartbeat, chest pain, shortness of breath. A lot of heart attack-like symptoms, believe it or not, can be caused by iron deficiency problems. Headache, dizziness, lightheadedness, inflammation, soreness of the tongue, unusual cravings. Like I said, poor appetite is one, especially in infants. So if you have a baby or young child that is iron deficient, they will have a really poor appetite. That is one of the symptoms. So complications of this, these are the complications of iron deficiency. If left untreated, they may include severe anemia, which could cause a plethora of health problems, especially with your heart. Your heart and your lungs are not going to function properly without that hemoglobin and without that iron in your body. They're just not going to function. Mild iron deficiency doesn't really cause any complications, but if it is left untreated for a long time, it will lead to lots of health problems. It can lead to rapid and irregular heartbeats, problems with menstrual periods, hormones, problems like premature births and low birth weight babies are seen during pregnancy. So if you're pregnant and you don't have enough iron, it can actually cause major problems with the baby. Infants and children can become anemic, and their development can actually be delayed. So you can have developmental delays from being iron deficient. So some of the iron deficiency causes include inadequate availability of iron, low iron in your diet over a period of time. This is just going to result in a deficiency. Blood loss due to an accident or injury. You're in a car accident, you lose a lot of blood. Blood loss due to menstruation, blood loss losing due to childbirth, giving birth to a baby. Heavy menstrual bleeding every month will definitely make you anemic. And this is a problem I had. So my personal story of anemia is I had menstrual period related anemia. My doctor basically told me that someday when I went through menopause, my anemia would go away, and my hematocrit, which is what they check for your iron, your hematocrit, and your iron stores that are stored in your bones. She said I think it's what you call a ferritin level is what they call it. So there's your ferritin and your hemoglobin that you want to have checked with testing. I was really low. I was horrible. I was like at like 7, 8, 9, which is like almost death. I mean, it was really bad when it's supposed to be all up at like 60 or who knows what number it was supposed to be at. It was supposed to be pretty high. And I was like at 7, 8, 9 because I was having hemorrhaging periods all the time. They were terrible. And I went through menopause about 10 years ago. And then sure enough, after the period stopped, my hematocrit started coming up each year. It got better and better and better. I still need to take iron supplements. I still am taking extra iron and doing things to improve iron in my diet. But I do not have that problem where I'm anemic. And I went from having the white eyelids to having pink eyelids, which is really nice. So other things that will cause iron deficiency are bleeding gums, bleeding anywhere in your body for any reason at all. You could have polyps in your colon that are bleeding. You know, there's just so many things. You could have cancers that are causing internal bleeding. There's also internal bleeding from colon cancer, ulcers, stomach ulcers is a big one. A lot of people who are losing blood out of their body and they don't know why. Most people find out that they have a stomach ulcer. That's like one of the hugest causes of that is stomach ulcers. Also, you could have parasites. If you have parasites, they basically destroy your ability to absorb nutrients from your food, especially vitamins and minerals. And so all the vitamins, minerals go away when you have parasites. So parasites will cause major iron deficiency. Certain medications and drugs, prescription drugs, over-the-counter medications, as well as prescription medications, can cause iron deficiency. What else am I missing here? Certain disorders like celiac disease or inflammatory bowel disease or IBS or malabsorption, anything that affects the intestine or the colon will prevent you from absorbing nutrients properly, and that is going to cause iron deficiency. Taking the wrong type of iron supplement will cause iron deficiency if you're not taking the right one for your body. Not taking C with your iron. So iron needs vitamin C to bind to it to help it absorb into your body. So if you're not eating any fruits ever and you're not eating any vegetables that have a lot of vitamin C and you're not taking vitamin C and you're taking iron, the iron will do nothing for you because you need to have C as a binder to help the iron to absorb properly into your body. It's kind of like a partner to the iron. They get together and they make a marriage, and then the baby is your iron levels go up, basically. Taking magnesium at the same time with your iron will counteract it, and then your iron won't absorb into your body, and that will cause low iron. Certain foods and beverages can block your iron absorption. There's a lot of herbs, herbal treatment, in Chinese medicine, Ayurvedic, and just herbal medicine in general. There's herbs that you can take that can suck iron out of your body, so you have to be careful with that. Let's see. I'm trying to think what else. I am not going to go over all those herbs and all those things and foods that suck iron out of your body, because as a teacher and a counselor and coach, one of the biggest things that I do is giving homework to my clients and having them do some of the work. I'm not here to feed all the answers to people. I'm here to empower people and give them some of the answers. And then I expect people to do their own research. And so please, please, please research the types of herbs and foods that will block your iron absorption. That is something that you need to go and research for yourself. It's really important because it could take me an hour to go over all of that stuff. And instead of doing it, I would rather you go and research and find out for yourself. Heavy exposure to EMFs and radiation will also cause loss of minerals and vitamins in your body, because your body, when you're being exposed to a lot of that, your body cannot absorb minerals and nutrients properly. Also, one of the biggest factors for people is stress. If you're under extreme amounts of stress, your body will not absorb nutrients properly. You can actually have iron deficient anemia just from being stressed out all the time. Believe it or not, stress kills, 95 or 98% or something like that. I think the American Medical Association says like 95% or something of health issues are caused by stress. So stress is pretty toxic and deadly to you, and it will actually block your body's ability to function properly. Lack of B vitamins can also cause anemia. You can have what's called B deficient anemia. So it may not necessarily be from iron. So that is why you need, if they do say that you have anemia, make sure that it's iron deficient anemia versus B deficient anemia. And sometimes it's both. So that is something that you need to determine with a doctor. It's important for you to all know that taking too much iron is dangerous. So iron actually can kill you and harm you because it builds up in your body. It actually builds up in your liver, and it builds up in your bones, and it builds up in your body. And men are not supposed to take really iron supplements very much, or very much of it. Men usually, if you look at men's supplements, none of them have iron in it. And that's because most food, especially men who are eating meat, they're getting enough iron for their diet just out of their meat that they're eating every day. If men were to take iron supplements, it actually can make them very sick and even kill them, because men absorb iron and hold on to iron completely different than women do. Men always tend to have tons of iron. Typically, people who suffer from iron deficiency are usually going to be women and children. It's very rare that men suffer from iron deficiency. It's just not a thing for them. So I'm going to warn you all, if you're a dude and you're listening to this, you need to work very closely with your doctor to make sure that you are dealing with the iron the proper way, because it is very dangerous and very sensitive for men to be working with iron. So what I have done in the past for myself, and I still do today, is every year I go and I get what's called a CBC done, and I have all my levels checked, I have my thyroid checked, my iron levels checked, I have my heart, all my heart stuff checked, my cholesterol, all of that checked. I have all the other things on the CBC check that are really important functions of your body, like your bilirubin and just all kinds of, there's just a laundry list of things on the CBC that they run to check your blood to see if you have any kind of cancers or diseases or anything wrong with you. I really recommend that you do that CBC once a year, and you definitely check to see your iron if you have any of the symptoms that I went over earlier. I basically, a lot of people are walking around, and I get a little upset about this because I've had clients come to me and say, oh, well, I feel fine all the time and I'm perfectly healthy and I don't have any symptoms of anything, so there's nothing wrong with me. Well, that's like having your head in the clouds kind of attitude, because here's the problem with that. Huge percentage of things like cancers, heart disease, breast cancer, all this kind of stuff, they are silent killers. There's so many diseases that are silent killers. What does that mean? It means you're walking around all day long and you have no freaking clue that there's anything wrong with you, and that thing's festering inside of you. And when you find out is when it's too late, because when you finally do have a symptom, you go to the doctor and find out you have 2 weeks to live or you have a month to live. And that's because that thing has been festering inside of you for a long time. And that is why you need to go to a doctor and get an annual checkup. You need to have annual blood tests to check all your levels to make sure everything is okay. Because if you never ever go into a doctor's office and you're walking around thinking everything's okay, then suddenly if you just drop dead one day and the doctor has to go tell your family, well, she or he had cancer, your family's going to be scratching their head going, I don't get it. They were so healthy. Well, you owe it to your family and your loved ones to not do that, because you don't want to do that to them. There is no such thing as death. You know, we have a soul and that soul goes on forever. But the people who we leave behind, our mother, our father, our children, our spouse, whoever it is that we leave behind, our friends, our family, they're the ones who suffer. And so you owe it to your family. If you're going to be arrogant and be in your ego and say, well, I don't need to get my blood checked, or I don't need a doctor, or I don't need to get checkups. You can do that. But then when you keel over dead, you are actually harming your family. So I cannot urge you enough to get yourself checked every year and tested to make sure that you are absolutely healthy. All right. So now if your tests that you have come back and say, like mine did, that I was severely iron deficient or even partially iron deficient, even a little bit, then you need to find the root cause of why do you have iron deficiency. Okay, I went over those earlier. Okay, there's all those different things I went over, you know, like bleeding disorders and malabsorption and parasites. You need to know what the cause is, because just taking iron is not going to fix it. So I had so many clients who have been to doctors who are horrible, bad allopathic doctors, and they had iron deficiency, and the doctor just said, here's an iron supplement, and their iron deficiency never improved. They kept being iron deficient. And the reason they were iron deficient was either A, because they were not taking vitamin C with the iron, so it wasn't absorbing properly, or they were taking magnesium or calcium at the same time as the iron, which was blocking the absorption, or there was a root cause of the deficiency that wasn't just the deficiency. It was something like continuously bleeding or a parasite or cancer or something else. And so it's really important for you to get to the root cause. And that's why you need to have full-on tests sometimes run to see what's going on. Because if you have an ulcer, you know, these are all things you need to heal, because until you heal them, your iron stores are not going to come back normal and perfect the way they're supposed to. You have to always find the root cause and always heal the root cause in order to fully be a healthy, whole human being and be in what we call homeostasis. Really important for you to find root causes. And that is one of the biggest things I do when I'm health coaching clients, is finding their root cause and saying, well, the reason you have headaches is because you're magnesium deficient, or the reason you have swollen ankles is because you have gout, or, you know, you have to get to the root cause of these different things. Okay. If you're a woman and you just had a baby, you're going to know, and then you get a blood test and they say you're iron deficient, you're going to know immediately the root cause is you just had a baby and you bled your rear end off. And that is why you have iron deficiency. So the root cause of that is it's a no-brainer. All right. And if you're somebody who's a woman who has chronic heavy menstrual periods, it's kind of a no-brainer that you're going to have iron deficiency with that. So regular allopathic doctors, and I've talked to you all about this before, regular allopathic doctors are not good for diagnosing or troubleshooting anything. They're kind of paid, what do you call it? I almost said pimple pushers, pill pushers. They are paid pill pushers for big pharma. So unless they are what we call a functional medicine MD doctor or a holistic MD that's trained also in holistic stuff, or they're a integrative medical doctor where they work with naturopaths and they work with all the other holistic stuff. The normal MD allopaths, most of the time you go to them, they shake their head and go, I don't know what's wrong with you. Or if they do know what's wrong with you, they don't even bother to find the root cause. They just say, here's a drug or here's surgery. They never, ever, ever want to find the root cause. They also don't ever want to do prevention with you. They don't give you instructions on how to be healthy, how to get rid of obesity, how to, prevent diabetes and heart problems and prevent quick aging and rapid aging and skin cancer. They don't ever train their patients on that. They just see people who are sick because it's a sickness model. So you go into their office when you're already sick, and then they either know what you have and they just say, here's what you have, but they don't find the root cause. And then they just drug you, which is just a Band-Aid. It doesn't heal your root cause at all. It's just a Band-Aid and you still are sick. Or they shake their head and they go, I don't know what's wrong with you. I just don't know. I don't know. And then, oh, but here's a drug anyways. Maybe this will get rid of, and they'll hand you a Prozac or some antidepressant because you're depressed over your health that they can't solve. They don't know how to solve it. So you're depressed. So here's an antidepressant. So that is how they function. So it's really, really important that when you go to get your blood tested every year and you go and do this work I'm telling you to do on yourself, that you see a functional medicine doctor, a holistic integrative doctor, a naturopath. That's what I go to. I go to a naturopath. I also have an MD I go to who is a holistic integrative MD doctor. And I go to chiropractors, I go to Chinese medicine doctors, I go to Ayurvedic doctors, and I go to homeopaths. Those are all the people who are going to get to the root cause of your issues. Okay, almost done with this here. Let's see. All right. So let's talk about everyday what I do for my iron to help myself raise my iron levels, and that is eating healthy, high in iron, healthy foods, that are going to help you just using food. Okay, so there's two main types of iron foods. There's hemi-iron and non-hemi-iron. Hemi-iron comes from hemoglobin, and hemi is better absorbed by the body, and it's commonly found in liver. Liver is going to have the highest concentration of, and we're talking like chicken liver, goose liver, any kind of liver organ, what they call organ meat, is the richest in what's called hemi-iron, which is the most absorbable by the body. Okay. Also meat of different kinds, poultry, seafood. It could be pork. It could be lamb. It could be beef. It could be bison. It could be deer meat, whatever. But those are the ones that have the highest amount of the most absorbable hemi-iron. So then there's non-hemi-iron foods, and those are commonly non-hemi-iron, which can also be absorbed by the body, but not as well as the hemi-iron. That can be found in beans or legumes, nuts, seeds, certain vegetables like spinach. Spinach is very high in iron. Arugula is very high in iron. Potatoes are actually high in iron. You can get fortified sources like tofu, grains, breads, and cereals that are fortified with iron. I do not recommend potatoes and cereal and breads and grains because they make you fat and they cause inflammation and they're not particularly good. I actually eat a paleo diet. So I'm eating nuts and seeds, but I'm not eating grains. I do not eat cereal ever. I don't eat breads. Once in a blue moon, I'll have a sourdough bread when I'm craving bread, but I avoid bread like the plague. It's got gluten, which causes inflammation. It's really bad for arthritis and autoimmune disorder. So I do not recommend those. If you're somebody who can't live without it, I can't tell you what to do. Go for it. You know, it's your body, your life, your health. If you want to go eat all the bread in the world, then you can do it. But I personally do not like to advise that to my clients. According to the RDA, here are the foods that are the highest in iron. So these are the foods rich in hemi iron, which is the good type of iron. Beef, chicken, clams, eggs, lamb, ham, turkey, veal, pork, liver, shrimp, tuna, sardines, haddock, mackerel, oysters, and scallops. Okay. Foods that are rich in non-hemi iron. And these are for you vegan people out there, vegetarian people. I know you're not going to want to eat the meat. So for you, what you would want to eat, or even if you're not a vegan person, you're just a normal person, I recommend you eat vegetables because they're healthy for you. Dried or canned peas and beans like kidney, garbanzo, cannellini, and soybeans are all loaded with iron. Lentils, peas, tofu, tempeh, which is fermented soybeans, iron-rich breads and cereals, of course, pasta, wheat products, bran cereals, cornmeal, oat cereals, cream of wheat, rye bread, enriched rice, whole wheat bread. Fruits include figs, dates, raisins, prunes and prune juice, vegetable juice. Now, I personally, believe it or not, I love prunes. I don't know why. I've liked them since I was a little girl, so I eat a lot of prunes. The other thing I liked to take, especially when I was pregnant and especially when I had really bad anemia, was molasses. Molasses is really high in iron. Blackstrap molasses has more iron in it than a lot of things you can buy at the store. So look into blackstrap molasses, research it, look at how many grams of iron are in that. You will be surprised. Also, broccoli, string beans, dark leafy greens, any kind of dark leafy green like dandelion, collard greens, kale, and spinach, they're going to have the highest of all the veggies on the market. Those are going to be the highest in iron. Potatoes, cabbage, Brussels sprouts, tomato paste, not tomatoes, but tomato paste because it's concentrated. Other foods rich in iron include what I just mentioned earlier: blackstrap molasses, pistachio nuts, pumpkin seeds, sesame seeds, flax seeds, almonds, cashews, pine nuts, macadamia nuts, and hemp seeds. So now that's my jam right there because I am a paleo girl. And so every day I am munching down pumpkin seeds. I'm munching down flax seeds. I'm munching down almonds and cashews and macadamia nuts and hemp and all these wonderful, yummy seeds that are so good for you and very anti-inflammatory. All of these things are all anti-inflammatory, which is amazing. Some foods you have to be careful because there is foods on the market that can hinder your iron absorption. So make sure that you research foods that block iron absorption. And it's going to be things that are really high in calcium or magnesium, probably mainly calcium, that are going to block it. Try to avoid drinking coffee. Coffee and tea actually block iron absorption. Calcium-rich foods like milk, you don't want to take your iron at the same time you're taking milk. So I'm not telling you to not have dairy products and products with calcium because your body needs calcium also to function, but you don't want to take them at the same time because they cancel each other out. So you would eat calcium-rich foods and wait 2 or 3 or 4 hours and then do your iron. Okay. So you don't want to have a meal that like with meat or something or collard greens or kale, and then have a whole bunch of cheese with that, because it's going to block the absorption of the iron. So you want to do them separate. And there's actually books on this. They call it food combining. There's certain foods that you want to combine and certain foods you don't want to combine for different health purposes. So you will want to do research. Now, the kind of foods you really do want to eat with iron. Oh, let me drink here for a minute. Got a tickle in my throat. So the things that you do want to have with your iron-rich food are going to be vitamin C-rich foods. Like I said earlier, vitamin C is going to help you absorb your iron better into your body. So the kind of foods are going to be like strawberries, cherries, oranges, lemons, limes, any kind of thing, orange juice, broccoli is really high in vitamin C. Pine needle tea is high in vitamin C. There's a lot of things that are really high in vitamin C. Any kind of citrus, grapefruit, tomatoes are very high in vitamin C. Peppers, super high. In fact, peppers, bell peppers have more vitamin C than a lot of things do. So those are the kind of things you want to eat with the things that have a lot of iron to help your body absorb the iron. Now, if you're doing an iron supplement, what I would do and still do is I take the iron supplement with 1,000 milligrams of vitamin C, or at least 500 milligrams of vitamin C. And that is what I do. Now, iron can be super constipating. So for people who tend to have looser poop, iron won't bother you at all. But for people who are more constipated, it can really bind you up. So I spend a lot of time doing research into the best absorbable iron supplements. And the one that I've been taking for years is called iron bisglycinate. And the reason why is because it doesn't constipate you the way the other types of iron can constipate you. In fact, I think it's called ferrous iron bisglycinate or something like that, but it's iron bisglycinate. And it doesn't bind you up the way the other types of iron does, and it also absorbs better into your body. So that is something I highly recommend, that if you're doing the iron supplements, that you be careful that you don't get bound up and constipated. That's what's really nice about getting your iron through like leafy greens, because leafy greens are high in fiber and other things that actually help your bowels. They don't clog you up and make you constipated. So there is a type of iron, a brand or like a trademark type of iron. And this is the one I think I use. It's called Ferrochel. It's spelled Ferochel, and it's ferrous iron bisglycinate chelate. And that is the full name of the stuff that I usually use. I just call it iron bisglycinate for short. But if you want to get scientific about what the actual like brand name is, it's Ferrochel iron bisglycinate chelate. So that is the one I like. You will want to research different types of iron supplements and find out what is best for your body. That is the one that's best for my body. And that is the one I like. Make sure that if you're going to take a supplement, that you just don't go and self-treat and diagnose yourself. Make sure that you go to a doctor and you work with the doctor and you tell them, okay, I want to take an iron supplement. What do I take? And you work with them and also have it monitored, because too much iron can accumulate really easily into your body, and you can get too much. It doesn't ever excrete out of your body. It just keeps building up and building up. The only way you excrete it out is if you're bleeding a lot, like you lose a lot of blood. That's how you lose your iron. Otherwise, it doesn't. Okay. So, it builds up in your spleen, your liver, and your bone marrow. That's where it builds up, which is why eating bone marrow from cows actually helps build your iron. So iron toxicity is a thing. Overdoses of iron can build up and they can kill you. You can actually die from iron toxicity. It's super dangerous. So I cannot urge you enough that anything that I've talked about today, please go and work with the doctor on this. Please talk to your doctor. Please work with them on it before you just go do anything, because all of these things are very sensitive and can be dangerous if you don't do it properly. So my final opinion before I sign off here is that you are a body, mind, and spirit. Of course, I tell this to people all the time, have been for many years that I've been coaching and teaching. And you need to always have your body, mind, and spirit connected, and you need to tune into your body, mind, and spirit and listen to what it needs. Listen to what, like, open your ears and your heart and your mind and all of it, and really feel your body and be with your body, be present with your body, and really pay attention to how your body is feeling from day to day, the subtle differences of what's going on, and really listen to what your body needs. If your body needs to sleep, you need to sleep. If your body needs more water, drink more water. If your body needs more vitamin C, go get more vitamin C. If you're having cravings for food, chances are it is a deficiency. So for example, women who are pregnant will crave different things. I was craving a lot of eggs when I was pregnant with my son. And that is because I was zinc deficient, and eggs, the yolk in the eggs is very high in zinc, and it's very healthy for you. And so I was craving a ton of eggs when I was pregnant with him because I needed that zinc. So when you're having a craving for something, you need to listen to that and listen to your body and ask your body, what is my body telling me? If I'm craving a milkshake every day, maybe I'm lacking calcium, because milkshakes are full of calcium. So what is it that your body wants? Really pay attention, really tune in, and learn to meditate, because that helps you get in touch with and get your body, mind, and spirit all balanced together and connected together, so that you can keep yourself healthy and keep yourself in a place of homeostasis. And you especially need to tune in to both the positive symptoms and the negative symptoms. So when your body feels good and you want more of that, pay attention to, what am I doing that makes me feel so good, versus I feel shitty. What am I doing that's making me feel so bad? Why do I feel so bad? And also keep in mind that your mind has complete control over your body as well. So your positive thoughts are going to keep you healthy and high vibrational, and your negative thoughts are going to vibrate low, and they are going to cause sickness in your body. And they're also going to block you from healing. So if you're really sick and you're focusing on negative thoughts, your body cannot heal. So really pay attention to the thoughts. And that's why we are a body, mind, and spirit, because our mind affects our body affects our mind. Being sick can make you depressed and sad, but being sad and depressed can make you sick. So it's kind of a vicious circle, if you can see that. So that's about it for now. Thank you for joining me here. Please smash that like button, because then more people will see this video and get help from it. Share it with everybody who you think needs to see it, and subscribe. And if you like the work I'm doing, there's a link below for buy me a coffee. Feel free to support me. I do not monetize this channel at all. I don't get any money at all for the work I'm doing on this channel or my other spiritual channel. If you want spiritual growth information, please go to Spiritual Growth Journeys channel. The link is below in the description. That's my other YouTube channel. It's also on Rumble as well, Spiritual Growth Journeys backup channel. That's for more spiritual, woo-woo, kind of paranormal kind of info, metaphysics, all of that, esoterics, religion, that type of stuff. That's all on that channel. And thanks again for stopping by. Take care. Bye-bye.